What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Game for Daniel, aka Big D, and back with another unboxing video. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. Alright, so this package is by Amazon. I ordered it from Amazon, so let's go ahead and open this. This sucker's got some writing. Remove to expose something. Okay. Wait. Oh, okay. Alright, we got it open. Go ahead and slide this sucker out. Alright, and from Amazon, thanks to you, this product has a second life. Heck yeah. So, this is the video game console, Super Console X. Should say Super Console X. And we get a game console, SD card, which has all the games on it, controller, power cable, HD, retro video game console. Alright, so we'll open it up, and I paid $65 including tax for this guy, so not a bad deal at all. So right out of the box, we put that on the side. We got some instruction manual, user manual, which is nice. So it also has a Android 7.1 Super Console X Cube. You can enter the Android TV system to support Wi-Fi, and you can download various applications and store and achieve more functions. So I can actually download like more apps to this console, and it's an emulator ELEC 3.9. So yep, so it's a gaming system emulator and an Android device. And then we got the controllers for it, which basically looks like a PS2 controller. But hey, I mean, if it works, it works, you know. Definitely feels like a PS2 controller, a little bit more cheaply made though, and a lot more hollow. It looks like it takes batteries on the back. Yes, it takes two AA or AAA batteries actually. And these are wireless, so that's nice. Hopefully the wireless is good on them. Alright, so I'm assuming the console's in here, and if so, this is a pretty small little console. Alright, so right out of the box, right here is, wow. So here's the console, here's my hand. So my hand is literally like bigger than this thing. But this is the Super Console X Cube. Basically, it looks like a regular Nintendo Entertainment System, which is a nice little touch to it. I mean, I actually like the look of the design. And just like the old one, the top lid lifts up, but it reveals 4 USB ports for 4 players. I'm assuming is what that is. So, yeah, that is nice. Super lightweight, which obviously it's an emulator, so they don't really have much to them. But yeah, HD, right there's the SD card. And apparently that voids the warranty if I pull the SD card out, but I went and got me the 128 gigabyte. So they had different sizes. They had like 64, 128, and 256. I went with the 128 gigabyte, which is enough games. Like it's a lot of games that it comes with. There's the Ethernet port, DC power. Okay. And AV if you want. So it comes with a remote control, I guess, if you want to like control like the Android side of this console. You have the remote, that's an option. We got HDMI cables, which is really nice. I prefer that than over AV. Then last but least, we have a power, which I actually have another one of these that would work, but yeah. Anyway, Right here is the power adapter. So 12 volt by 1 amp. Well guys, that is the unboxing side. So you got the console, remote, HDMI power, and 2 wireless controllers. And that is really nice. I actually like the look of this. I actually like the look that it basically looks like a NES. So that is awesome. So let's go ahead and fire this sucker up and see how many games we got. So after it booted up the boot up screen, it is currently popping up an error where not been set up or invalid. You'll need to do this by hand. It looks like your system configuring. What? Alright, so here are the specs of the system. So it's a 64-bit by 4-core CPU, 5-core, 450 graphics processor, 1080p to 720p, you know. But these are the instructions if you have any issues, which I am apparently having issues. It's not, it booted up one time and I keep getting an error. Alright guys, so I looked up the configuration and apparently it's a joystick problem. So apparently I have it plugged in the wrong port. So I'm going to pause myself there. So it actually wasn't the controller, matter of fact. So it was something else. And at the time, you wouldn't think that matters, but I guess that does matter. Alright, so now I have it plugged in right here. Got your on and off switch for the controller, so we'll go and try it now. Alright, so now I am on the Ken Hank screen, which this console is made by Ken Hank, but I did the controller thing, thought it was going to work, and it's been stuck at this screen for like 10 minutes. Like, it won't go past this. It won't even boot up the intro, the startup boot up screen. So I don't know what happened. So I voided the warranty by pulling this out, but it's 128 gigabyte, and I'm hoping it just wasn't in there all the way. So I unplugged it and I'm gonna plug it back in. Alright guys, so I'm gonna be talking over myself because none of my recordings got recorded with my audio. But anyway, tried out the SD card, thought it was not in there all the way, so I put it in. Nothing. I've done research, I've done configuration files on the PC, nothing pops up. But when you don't have the SD card in the system, you also get the boot up of the Android side. So this is the Android side of the console that you're seeing. So you have online play, comes with YouTube and other apps that you can download. Media Center, Play Store, so you can download like basically like apps like Netflix, Hulu, and then games through the Play Store. So this is basically, kind of think of it like a phone, but on the big screen. So you have like music, all that. You have your other apps that you can do. So, I mean, like I said, it's just like a phone, basically, an Android phone, but just on the big screen, and got its own custom UI. So network, you can hook this up to the Ethernet or wireless, so you can have network to download the games on here. It comes with display. It actually says it displays at 4K, but I don't think it does. I think it's 1080 to 720. So surprisingly though, this thing apparently does HDR, high dynamic range, which is surprising. That brings out color better. And right here is where it says 4K 60 hertz. I highly doubt that, but it's there. Like I said, I think the console only does 1080p. I do believe it does 60 FPS though, just not 4K. That's kind of like very rare you'll see something like that in an emulator. Okay, so you got storage. In here is the storage. It has internal storage of 4.7 gigabytes. So, yeah, I mean, date and time. You can basically set this thing up how you want it. It's pretty cool. You know, you got the Android side. But back to what I was saying, I cannot get the emulator side to work. So I've done a bunch of stuff I can try to do, and got on the PC. I've actually looked up some Ken Hank videos. Apparently it's a configuration file. I messaged the people from Amazon, and they telling me to replace the DTB file, or if not that, try to update the system. Well, the system is already up to date, so it's not one of those two. I can't seem to get it to work. It won't boot. It just stays stuck at this screen. So yeah. So last chance, I'm gonna go ahead and take this SD card and stick it in the computer and see what's going on. All right, so it recognizes it. It pops up. Yeah, so the computer recognizes it, so I don't know what's going on here. Let's see. So there's the Android side, and here's the games. System recovery. Let me see what I can figure out here, guys, and then if I fix it, I'll tell you how I did it. But right here are all the games that are on here, and I can back this up just in case so I don't lose any of these. So but that can take up to 2 hours to back these up.
6 hours later.
Alright guys, so still cannot figure out what's going on and why it gets frozen at the Ken Hank screen, but it's not booting up the emulator side of the console. So we're just going to download some stuff on the Android side and just see if I can download a game on the Android side, and we'll see how it handles on that side. At least I can still at least try to give a review on what the Android side can do. But as you can see, you can download NFL, Amazon Music, Freebie, which is actually pretty cool. You have a bunch of apps that you can download on here, so that is what's up. That's pretty cool. I do like that, at least. So at least I can able to do the Android side, at least. So at least I'm able to do something. So I went ahead and downloaded this game, Asphalt 8, on here. So we're booting it up right now, and it seems pretty cool. Looks pretty cool, but how does it play and what does it look like? And like, yeah, so we're gonna see what this game looks like. Asphalt 8 Airborne. So yeah, we'll see how this game looks. Alright, so it's booting up now, and yeah, and again, I apologize for the recording, how I was able to record this. So I'm basically narrating over top of this video. So as you can see, graphics look pretty good until the gameplay starts, and as you can see, it's dropping frame rates like crazy. And if you guys haven't watched my gameplays before, I prefer my smoother frame rates than I do my resolution. The game looks pretty good. Ooh, okay, so it's like a Burnout. It's kind of like Burnout, it reminds me of like Burnout Revenge. But anyway, as I was saying, I prefer my frame rates smoother gameplay than I do resolution. So the graphics look pretty good, but as you can see, it's very laggy, very just like I said, very laggy, and the frames is dropping on it, which makes it laggy. So it's not running at 30, it's not running at 60, it's probably running at like 15 to 20 FPS, which is kind of bad. So, I mean, you're able to play it if it don't bother you, but the inputs, when you do the input, there's an input lag and all that. So, yeah. The game is playable though, and I also want to note, as you're playing these games, the emulator gets really hot. Like, the system gets really hot, so be aware of that and pay attention to your console that it don't get too hot. So that is one thing about this. But yeah, I mean, it plays. The Android side does play. I'm playing this game, and it's fun when it works, but not very smooth. So yeah. Another thing I want to mention, the controller is actually pretty decent. It's as cheap as it is made, it still feels like a PS2 controller, just a lot lighter, and without the vibrations, the DualShock. It's actually pretty well made. I will admit that. Like, I actually felt pretty comfortable holding the controller in my hand, and the connection didn't lag at all. It was just laggy through the inputs because of the game wasn't running very smooth. But the controller was actually surprisingly comfortable, and I will admit that it was pretty well made for a very cheap emulator console. But yeah, here is the rest of the gameplay. I'll let the gameplay play a little bit so you guys get, you know, just get the feel and sound of how this game plays on this. So that's that for that, guys. The Super Console X Cube. Heard it works pretty well when it does work, but in my case, I got pretty lucked out on this. Like I said, I'm able to play the Android side, but I mainly bought it for the emulator side. I wanted to play my Dreamcast games. I wanted to play the PS1 games, SNES, but I can't. So, anyway, guys, if I figure out any solutions of fixing this, I will make an update in this video. If you guys have any ideas of what I could possibly do of fixing this, it's definitely a software problem, definitely. Let me know in the comments. But subscribe, and I'm sorry it's not the video you guys wanted, but until next time.